If you're over 40 and still struggling to build muscle, it likely has nothing to do with your age or your genetics. After coaching thousands of men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, I've seen the same mistakes derail progress again and again. These mistakes don't just slow down your gains, they can wreck your joints, kill your energy, and make you feel like muscle growth is impossible after 40. But here's the good news. Once you know what they are and how to fix them, you can finally start building muscle at the same pace as guys half your age. In this video, I'm breaking down the 7 biggest mistakes men over 40 make and exactly what you should do instead. And make sure you watch till the end because I'm going to share one mistake you're probably making right now that's quite literally blocking your body's ability to gain muscle. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Mistake number 1, accepting mediocre progress. A lot of men hit their 40s and assume muscle growth has to slow down. So they back off their training, lower their expectations, and settle for mediocre results. But the truth is, your body is still fully capable of making impressive gains, just like you did in your 20s. In fact, in one study, young and older adults followed the exact same resistance training program for 16 weeks. They found that while muscle fiber size increased by 32% in the younger guys, the older guys experienced a 30% increase. In other words, they put on just about the same amount of muscle mass. In another study, researchers measured training adaptations between college-aged men and middle-aged men. Not only did the middle-aged group increase their bench press 1 rep max by twice as much as the college-age group, but they also saw 17% greater muscle size gains than the younger guys. The bottom line is this: age doesn't diminish your ability to grow. The only thing that holds you back is the belief that progress has to slow down. Mistake number 2, you're not training hard enough. One of the biggest mistakes men over 40 make is cutting back too much in the gym out of fear of overdoing it. Yes, recovery does slow down. Yes, your joints need more care. But pulling back too far can stall progress, and the research actually shows the opposite of what most guys think. Older lifters often need more training volume, not less, to spark the same growth as younger guys. In one study, men performed leg extensions with either 3 sets or 6 sets. For the younger group, doubling the sets only bumped muscle protein synthesis by about 20%. But in the older group, doubling the sets more than doubled muscle protein synthesis. Now, this doesn't mean you should just double your training overnight. What it does mean is that gradually increasing your total sets is far more effective than scaling everything back. But here's the catch: volume isn't enough. It's also about effort. The harder you push each set, the more motor units you recruit, especially those larger growth-prone fibers. One meta-analysis compared lifters who trained to failure versus those who stopped 1 to 3 reps shy. Both groups built the same amount of muscle and strength. The difference was that the failure group was far more fatigued and needed longer to recover. As you get older, that extra fatigue can start working against you, limiting how often you can train and how much total work you can handle each week. So while you don't need to push sets to failure, you do need to push them close to failure to maximize muscle growth. Mistake number 3, not eating enough protein. One of the biggest nutrition mistakes men over 40 make is underestimating how much protein they actually need. Research shows that as we age, our muscles become less sensitive to smaller protein doses. In other words, the amount that might have worked in your 20s won't cut it in your 40s. For example, in one study, older men were given different doses of protein after training: 0, 10, 20, and 40 grams. They saw a 65% increase in muscle protein synthesis from 20 grams of protein and a 90% increase from 40 grams. Another study confirmed the same thing. While 20 grams may be enough to maximize muscle protein synthesis in younger guys, older men kept seeing bigger gains with 30 and even 45 grams. So if you want to maximize muscle growth after 40, aim for around 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal to get the full anabolic response. And if you're already training hard and eating enough protein, yet you're not experiencing noticeable muscle growth, this doesn't mean you're not gaining muscle. If you really want to know whether what you're doing is working, you need to be able to track muscle growth precisely, which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, the Body Pod by Hume. If you're still using a regular scale to track your progress, you're missing the full picture. The scale doesn't tell you whether the weight you've gained or lost is muscle, fat, or just water. And if your goal is to put on lean mass, this is critical. The Body Pod is the world's first portable body analyzer that delivers medical grade accuracy, scanning your arms, legs, torso, and even heart health using 8 advanced frequency sensors. You get over 40 detailed health metrics, and it's 98% as accurate as those expensive in-body machines you'll find at high-end gyms. Right now, I'm in a phase where I'm trying to build muscle without gaining unnecessary fat, and the Body Pod helps me make sure I'm on track. I can monitor muscle mass, body fat, and other key indicators that a normal scale completely misses. It also tracks important health markers for men over 40, like visceral fat, which is linked to heart disease and insulin resistance, and metabolic age, which shows how efficiently your body is functioning compared to your actual age. And with the free Hume app, all your data is broken down visually and paired with AI-powered insights based on your sleep, nutrition, and daily habits, so you always know where to focus. If you want to stop guessing and actually understand what's going on inside your body, check out the Body Pod by Hume. Right now, they're hooking up my viewers with 20% off the Body Pod, and that stacks on top of their current sale to save up to 50% off. Just use the code ALIGN at checkout. To grab yours, click the link in the description, enter the code, and start tracking smarter. Mistake number 4, training with lighter weights. A lot of men over 40 shy away from heavy weights because they're worried about getting injured. The problem is, avoiding heavy lifting doesn't protect you, it actually sets you back. Yes, you can build muscle with both heavy and light weights as long as you push your sets close to failure. But training exclusively with lighter weights comes at a cost. High rep sets build up more metabolites, create more fatigue, and cause more muscle damage. And that extra fatigue means longer recovery times, which ultimately limits how much quality training you can actually do. Research also shows that with lighter weights, you need to go closer to failure to get the same growth stimulus. That's where fatigue and sloppy form pile up, and ironically, that's when injuries are more likely. Heavy weights, on the other hand, let you create that growth stimulus without having to grind all the way to failure. You can stop a couple of reps shy, recover faster, and keep your form cleaner, which actually lowers your risk of injury. So don't fear heavy lifting. When it's done properly, it's one of the safest and smartest ways to train after 40. Mistake number 5, ignoring pain. As we age, our joints and connective tissues naturally change. Synovial fluid decreases, connective tissue stiffens, and overall resilience declines. That means our bodies are more vulnerable to wear and tear than they were in our 20s. The biggest mistake you can make at this stage is trying to push through that pain. As much as we want to be tough, we also have to be smart. What starts as a minor ache can quickly snowball into serious injury, and that's what really kills long-term progress. A smarter approach is to train mindfully. Pay attention to your body's signals and be willing to make adjustments. If squats aggravate your knees, swap them for Bulgarian split squats or leg presses. If barbell overhead presses bother your shoulders, switch to dumbbells. If conventional deadlifts stress your lower back, use a trap bar or try Romanian deadlifts instead. The key thing to remember is this: there are no mandatory exercises. The right exercise is the one that allows you to train hard, consistently, and pain-free. To put it simply, we want to work around pain, not through it. That's how you keep making gains for the long haul. Mistake number 6, not prioritizing sleep. Sleep is usually the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy. But here's the problem. Poor sleep doesn't just leave you tired, it wrecks your hormones and kills your progress in the gym. In one study, researchers tracked testosterone levels in healthy young men. First, they let them sleep 10 hours a night for 1 week. Then they restricted their sleep to just 5 hours a night for another week. They found that testosterone levels dropped by 10 to 15% in just 7 days. That's the hormonal equivalent of aging 10 to 15 years practically overnight. And remember, this happened in young, healthy men. For guys over 40 who already face lower testosterone levels, the impact can be even more damaging. But it doesn't stop there. One meta-analysis found that poor sleep reduces maximum strength, endurance, and power, all the things you need to keep building muscle. So if you're serious about making gains, don't treat sleep as optional. Treat it as part of your training. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night and watch how much faster your body recovers and grows. And mistake number 7, you're ignoring deficiencies. As you get older, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing and using key vitamins and minerals. And while deficiencies don't always show up right away, they can quietly interfere with recovery, performance, and ultimately your ability to build muscle. That's where supplements can play a practical role. First, omega-3s. Research shows that supplementing with omega-3s helps fight off age-related anabolic resistance by boosting the anabolic response to nutrition in middle-aged adults. A 2011 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that 8 weeks of omega-3 supplementation significantly increased the muscle protein synthesis response to amino acids and insulin in older adults. Simply put, omega-3s don't just protect aging muscle, they upgrade how your body uses food to build more. For best results, aim for around 3 to 4 grams daily. Next is vitamin D. About 35 to 50% of men are deficient, and after 40, that number climbs closer to 60%. Low vitamin D levels are linked to reduced testosterone, weaker muscles, slower recovery, fatigue, and a higher risk of injury. One 2020 study even found that vitamin D enhances muscle protein synthesis and improves performance by boosting ATP production. For most men, supplementing with around 5,000 IU daily is a good target. And finally, magnesium. Studies suggest that up to half of men over 40 to 50 have suboptimal magnesium levels. That matters because magnesium supports recovery, sleep, and muscle function while also helping lower cortisol, the stress hormone that works directly against testosterone. Keeping cortisol in check helps maintain better hormonal balance, mood stability, and energy levels. For best results, aim for 200 to 400 milligrams daily. Supplements won't replace a good diet, but they can fill the gaps, especially as your body becomes less efficient with age. A smart supplement routine helps you train harder, recover better, and stay healthier long term. And if you're still struggling to build muscle after 40, then grab a free copy of my latest program, Full Body 40. This is a high-frequency program specifically designed for men over 40 who want to build muscle and gain strength. Whether you can only train 2 times per week or prefer to train every day, there's something in there for you to follow. Just click the link in the description, enter your name and email, and you'll get instant access. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.